What if I told you that you could find the key to gaining healthy, strong muscle after 60 for less than $2 right in your pantry? What if all of your preconceived notions about protein were in fact false and that costly supplements are intricate? Diet programs had nothing to do with preserving your strength and independence as you age. By the end of this film, I promise you will learn how one simple dish may transform your health, save you hundreds of dollars each month, and restore the vigor and energy you thought were lost forever. We're going to explore the most recent scientific findings that are completely upending the field of nutrition. And I'll teach you how to take advantage of this amazing finding right now. I am referring to beans as the food in question. Please, let me know where you're coming from today. Before we begin, please feel free to ask any questions you may have and leave a comment below. Remember to click the subscribe button and enable notifications so you don't miss any of Senior Health's top health advice. And I want to know whether you're with me. If you're now watching, if this video resonates with you, type 1 in the comment section. If not, type 0. Oh, and mention your nation in the comments to let us know where you're watching from. We would be delighted to hear from you. Okay, let's get going. Yes, regular basic beans. And let me tell you something that will completely blow your mind before you click away, thinking this is too fantastic to be true. According to recent studies from prestigious universities, beans can help adults over 60 gain and retain muscle at 1/10 of the price of those pricey protein powders. Millions of older adults who struggle with muscle loss on fixed incomes now have hope thanks to this discovery, which defies decades of traditional thinking. You see, it's not the protein source that matters. It's about knowing how our nutrition acquires change as we age and how to maximize the benefits of plant proteins. You'll question why no one told you about this earlier. When I explain the science, I'll show you an image that will forever alter your perspective on protein. Most people instantly image a steak or chicken breast when they think of food strong in protein. What will surprise you, though, is this. Each serving of soybeans contains more protein than the chicken breast you've been buying with your hard-earned cash. One cooked cup of soybeans has roughly 31 g of total protein. A 4 ounces portion of chicken doesn't contain that much protein. However, the bean family has other superstars. Besides soybeans, with over 18 g of protein per cup, lentils are in second position. Then there are our go-to foods such as kidney beans, chickpeas, and black beans, which each provide about 15 grams per cup. These are more than just a page of numbers. These have been right in front of us the entire time and are true muscle building powerhouses. This is when things start to get interesting. The old misconception that plant proteins are either inferior or lacking is something that most people have heard. Allow me to rectify the situation once and for all. Although most beans have a somewhat lesser amount of the amino acid methionine, they are incredibly high in lysine. And you know what? Rice and other grains have a lower lysine content, but a higher methionine content. They seem to have been precisely crafted by nature to complement one another. Combining beans with rice or any other whole grain results in a comprehensive protein profile that is on par with or even better than meat. It's not some new age. For thousands of years, societies all around the world have understood this fundamental biology. Consider it. Latin America's rice and beans, India's lentils and rice, and the Middle East's hummus and pho. These pairings were not coincidental. But for those of us over 60, here's what makes beans so special. They are providing more than just protein. It's like having a tasty multivitamin when you drink every single cup. We are discussing up to 15 grams of fiber, which promotes intestinal health and lowers inflammation in all areas of your body. Nearly half of your daily magnesium requirements are being met, which is vital for healthy muscle contraction and function. Beans contain B vitamins, including folate, which helps with protein metabolism, which slows down with age. You can get 70% of your daily folate needs from 1 cup of black beans. Then there are antioxidants, these potent substances known as anthocyanins, which combat the oxidative stress that deteriorates our muscles with age. Now I understand what some of you may be considering. How about digestibility? It is true that the digestibility of plant proteins is usually 70–90%, while that of animal proteins is 95–99%. The lovely thing about this, though, is this. Simple preparation techniques like pressure cooking and overnight soaking can help you cut down on those natural substances that impede digestion by as much as 90%. When properly prepared and consumed in sufficient quantities, plants are a perfect substitute for animal proteins. When it comes to developing muscle, I want to share with you something that most doctors don't adequately explain. We begin to lose muscle mass at a rate of roughly 0.5% to 1.5% annually beyond the age of 50. Although such things are important, this is more than just feeling powerful or looking fit. Our capacity to live independently as we age is directly impacted by this muscle loss, which scientists refer to as sarcopenia. Consider it this way. Losing a pound of muscle makes it more difficult to carry groceries, walk stairs, get out of a chair, and stop oneself if you fall. Loss of muscle is directly linked to a higher risk of falls, incapacity, and even early death. This isn't inevitable, which is good news. We can actually stop and even reverse muscle loss with the correct diet and a little resistance training. The science becomes pretty interesting at this point. Anabolic resistance is something that researchers have found. In essence, our muscles lose their ability to respond to signals from proteins that generate muscle as we age. A person over 60 needs 30 to 40 grams of high-quality protein per meal to achieve the same muscle-building effects as someone in their 30s who may benefit most from 20 grams at a meal. Leucine is a particular amino acid that functions as a catalyst for the production of muscle protein. In order to flip the same switch, older persons require 2 to 2.5 g of leucine per meal, but younger adults only need roughly 1 g. This is where beans truly come into their own. Although they have a little lower leucine content than products like whey protein powder, studies have shown that this difference is entirely negligible when you raise your intake of plant proteins to the proper amounts. I'll give you some actual figures. You weigh roughly 70 kilos if you weigh 154 pounds. For the best muscular growth, you would require 84–112 g of protein per day. That may seem like a lot, but if beans are the mainstay of your diet, it's completely doable and far less expensive than you might imagine. As we age, feeding of our protein intake also becomes increasingly important. Research indicates that muscle protein synthesis peaks in older adults 3 to 6 hours after meals, while in younger adults it peaks 1 to 2 hours later. In fact, this longer, slower response is ideal for the way beans digest. They offer a consistent, longless supply of amino acids that perfectly complements our body's prolonged window for muscle growth. Festivity of plant proteins is at the forefront. of the recent upheaval in the scientific community. In 2023, a comprehensive analysis examined 13 distinct randomized controlled trials with more than 800 participants, all of whom were over 60. The outcomes were breathtaking. When compared to animal protein controls, plant protein interventions had no discernible negative impacts on lean muscle mass over time. However, things get even more fascinating from here. The outcomes were more striking when participants paired physical training with their plant protein diet. We're talking about notable increases in muscle growth that were on par with or better than what scientists usually observe when using animal proteins. One research that really interested me tracked 37 elder livigans who took 18 grams of mung bean protein every day for 8 weeks. These folks were just going about their daily lives without engaging in any kind of organized fitness regimen. Compared to only 7% of the control group, which did not receive the additional protein, 45% of them gained more than 1 pound of lean body mass after 8 weeks. But hold on, it improves. In contrast to the control group, their grip strength increased by over 3%. The researchers discovered that these strength gains occurred even in the absence of changes in muscle bulk, indicating that plant proteins may improve muscle quality through mechanisms that are still unclear to us. The data is just as strong in long-term care settings. Over 3 pounds of lean mass and nearly 2 pounds of what scientists refer to as appendicular muscular mass were acquired on average by 84 residents, who were 85 years old on average when they consumed 30 grams of soy protein per day for 12 weeks. For movement and independence, that is the most crucial muscle in your arms and legs. As their walking speed increased, the control group's continuous deterioration was observed. An extensive Chinese study of over 5,000 persons over 60 produced what was arguably the most unexpected result. Consuming the most plant protein resulted in noticeably greater muscle mass, whereas eating animal protein had no correlation with maintaining muscle mass. The basic premise that animal protein is somehow better for senior citizens is totally called into question by this. In terms of muscle growth, not all beans are made equal. So allow me to present the winners to you. With more than 31 g protein per cooked cup and the only fully complete plant protein profile available, soybeans are unquestionably the best. With scores of studies attesting to their efficacy in helping older persons gain muscle, they are also the most studied. If soybeans are unfamiliar to you, you may be more familiar with them as a edamame when they are young and green. These are a really convenient high-protein snack that can be found in the frozen department of most grocery shops. For the ideal protein boost, simply simmer them for a few minutes and season with salt. My second place ranking goes to lentils for good reason. They cook in about 20 to 30 minutes, have over 18 g of protein per cup, and don't need to be soaked like larger beans do. If you have any dental issues, red lentils are especially great because they cook even faster and break down into a creamy consistency. They're really adaptable due to their mild flavor, and they're really one of the simplest methods to get protein into your everyday routine. With roughly 15 grams of protein per cup, kidney beans and black beans are rated for third place. Due to their high antioxidant content, I give black beans a little advantage. Anthocyanins, the dark pigments that give them their lovely color, are potent substances that promote muscle healing and lessen inflammation. Because they keep their texture when frozen and reheated, these beans are great for cooking in large quantities. Chickpeas are particularly noteworthy for their remarkably apt to be. At roughly 14.5 grams per cup, they have a somewhat lower protein content, but they can be used for a variety of purposes. They can be added whole to salads and soups, blended into creamy hummus, or roasted for crispy snacks. They are what I like to refer to as the gateway bean for those who are unfamiliar with plant-based proteins because of their firm texture and neutral flavor. Additionally, don't ignore split peas. They cook without soaking and contain more than 16 g of protein. They are ideal for those hearty soups that are simple to consume and digest since they naturally break down into a smooth, nearly creamy consistency. A warm bowl of split pea soup can provide significant protein in an easy-to-consume and soothing way for older persons who struggle with appetite. Let me tell you something about the economics of protein that may surprise you. While providing similar muscle-building advantages, beans are about a third of the price of animal proteins. This goes beyond nutrition for those of us on fixed means. This has to do with food security and having enough protein without going over budget. Dried beans provide 12 to 13 servings of high-protein protein for about $1 to $2 per pound. You would have to pay $15 to $20 for the same quantity of protein found in chicken breast. We're talking savings that may literally free up hundreds of dollars for other essentials over the course of a month. However, the advantages extend well beyond your pocketbook. Consuming beans regularly is what scientists refer to as C-reactive protein and other inflammation indicators in contrast to animal proteins, which can raise inflammatory markers in your body. This is crucial because long-term inflammation, which scientists have labeled inflammatory, directly hinders the production of muscle proteins and speeds up muscle atrophy. Each serving of bean simultaneously promotes muscular growth and reduces inflammation. The benefits to the heart make the case for beans even stronger. A daily meal of beans lowers the risk of cardiovascular disease by 10%. However, a high intake of animal protein is associated with an elevated risk of heart disease. Selecting beans over meat allows those of us who are managing several medical problems to get the protein we require while simultaneously promoting heart health, blood sugar regulation, and healthy cholesterol levels. Another aspect that many individuals find inspiring is environmental sustainability. Approximately 5 times as much water and energy are needed to produce beans as to produce the same amount of animal protein. This makes a lovely connection between planetary and personal health for older folks who care about the environment. Digestibility is the main issue I hear from people regarding beans. But the science offers straightforward answers. More than any other cooking technique, pressure cooking increases the digestibility of proteins by removing natural substances that can produce gas while maintaining all of the essential amino acids. Depending on the type, a decent pressure cooker can turn dried beans into highly digested protein in as little as 10 to 40 minutes. Your first line of defense against stomach problems is to soak overnight. You can minimize those gas-producing compounds by 75 to 90% by soaking your beans in water that contains a 4 teaspoons of baking soda per pound of beans. Before cooking, always rinse the beans thoroughly and throw away the soaking water. The majority of the substances that cause intestinal discomfort are removed by this one process. Don't worry if you forget to soak your beans overnight. The rapid soak method is nearly as effective. After 2 to 3 minutes of boiling, Take your beans off the heat and leave them for an hour. Rinse, drain, and continue cooking. Through centuries of bean intake, traditional societies have discovered incredible digestion aids. Gas production is greatly decreased when digestive spices like aseptita, cumin, or fresh ginger are used during cooking. It might be as easy as adding a strip of camu seaweed or a bay leaf to your cooking pot. Beans are more kinder to digestive systems because of the enzymes found in these natural substances which break down complex carbohydrates. The secret to success is to introduce things gradually. Increase comparable amounts every week, starting with just 2 to 4 teaspoons of well-cooked beans per day. Within 2 to 3 weeks, your gut microbiota will adjust, and by week 8, most people report fully normal digestion. Mung beans, split peas, and lentils are the best places to start your bean adventure because they often produce the least amount of gas at first. Beans are great since they provide so much more than simply protein. I like to think of it as a perfect storm for muscular health because of the way all of their nutrients work together. Consider magnesium. Each serving of beans contains 45 pNr, 20 ml of magnesium, which is directly involved in muscle contraction and protein synthesis. Despite eating a lot of protein, many older persons are unaware that they are magnesium deficient, which affects muscular performance. Beans include 6 to 15 grams of fiber per cup, which helps your gut's good bacteria manufacture substances known as short-chain fatty acids. These amazing compounds boost insulin sensitivity and decrease inflammation throughout the body. 2 things that are essential for developing muscle protein. Muscle mass is strongly influenced by gut health according to recent study on the gut-muscle axis. In this regard, beans' prebiotic properties are very beneficial. Special consideration should also be given to beans' antioxidants. These substances fight oxidative stress, which hastens the aging process of muscles. On the antioxidant charts, Isuki beans are at the top, closely followed by red kidney beans and black beans. In addition to neutralizing dangerous free radicals, these antioxidants also open up biological pathways that shield your muscle cells' mitochondria. Muscle function depends on protecting mitochondria, which are like tiny energy factories that deteriorate with aging. Another vitamin that merits discussion is iron. Although iron from plants is not as easily absorbed as iron from meat, combining beans alongside meals high in vitamin C can significantly improve absorption. Iron absorption can be increased by up to 300% with a simple combination, such as lentil soup with tomatoes or black beans with bell peppers. Your functioning muscles depend on this iron to carry oxygen. Prominent nutritionists have devised several ingenious methods to optimize beans' ability to promote muscular growth. Dr. Stuart Phillips, a sports nutritionist who has conducted groundbreaking studies on protein and aging, advises spreading out protein over the day as opposed to attempting to have it all at once. For each meal, he recommends 0.4 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. That is around 30 grams per meal for a person weighing 165 pounds or more. Instead of attempting to consume a single large quantity of beans, this entails mixing them into several meals throughout the day. The plate technique, as it is known, is frequently suggested by registered dietitians who specialize in nutrition for senior citizens. Put beans or other legumes on 1/4 of your plate. Healthful grains like quinoa or brown rice on another quarter, and vibrant veggies on the other half. In addition to offering the complete range of minerals that promote muscle health, this naturally produces complete proteins. There are some intriguing timing-related discoveries made by exercise physiologists. For long-lasting energy during resistance exercise, eat a bean-based meal 2 to 3 hours beforehand. Muscle protein building is maximized when meals are consumed within 2 hours of exercise. There are what scientists refer to as synergistic effects when resistance training and a sufficient intake of plant protein are combined. This indicates that the combination is more effective than either tactic by itself. All of these specialists have a very clear consensus. When eaten carefully, beans can help older persons achieve their protein needs. The secret is to consume 1.2 to 1.6 grams of beans per kilogram of body weight each day. Distribute 25 to 35 g evenly between meals and mix beans with complementary proteins throughout the day. For senior citizens, pressure cooking is the greatest preparation technique available. In addition to increasing digestion, pressure cooking cuts cooking time by roughly 75% and softens beans to a chewable consistency. With preset schedules for several bean kinds, modern electric pressure cookers remove any intimidation issue. Simply add water and beans, hit a button, and leave. Your meal preparation routine will undoubtedly change as a result of batch cooking. Make what I like to call your fast protein bank by cooking 2 to 3 loaves of mixed beans once a week and portioning them into freezer-safe containers. You may use frozen cooked beans straight into soups, stews, grain bowls, or salads, and they will retain their nutritional content for up to 6 months. The largest obstacle to regular eating is eliminated when cooked beans are prepared ahead of time, because it's so easy yet so effective. Sprouting is a technique that merits further attention. Lentils and mung beans that have been sprouted have a 20% increase in digestibility and a 4 to 38% increase in protein content. The process of sprouting is quite simple. After soaking for the entire night and draining, rinse your beans twice a day for 2 to 5 days or until tiny tails start to show. In addition to cooking much more quickly, sprouted beans almost never cause digestive problems. Canned beans offer great convenience without compromising too much nutrition for people with low energy or mobility concerns. Here's a suggestion that most people are unaware of. Wherever possible, choose low sodium variations. Keep the thick liquid in the can and don't rinse it out. It's known as aquafaba and it has important proteins. It can naturally offer more nutrients and thicken soups and stews. Even while canned beans have a few fewer nutrients than home-cooked ones, they still have a significant positive impact on muscular growth. Let me share the experience of Beverly Kelly, who demonstrates that it's never too late to make significant health changes. Beverly made the decision to go to a plant-based diet high in beans and other legumes. She was 80 years old. She reported having much more energy and losing 14 lb off belly fat in a matter of months. I paraphrase her when she adds, "I need less sleep now and stay active until at evening," because she didn't undergo this transition due to illness or despair. Her transformation speaks to a lot of people. She just wanted to maximize her health and found out what she could do. These individual success stories are elegantly supported by research. According to the well-known Nurses' Health Study, which tracked 85,000 women over 60 for years, eating more plant protein was associated with a lower risk of frailty, whereas eating more animal protein had the reverse impact. Compared to women who Mostly consumed animal proteins. Those who consumed the most plant protein were able to keep their independence and mobility for a much longer period of time. Programs in the community show that this also applies to the general populace. Fresh vegetables and beans are the only items for which the Seniors Farmers Market Nutrition Program offers vouchers. There were quantifiable increases in muscle mass and decreased rates of obesity among the participants. Access to reasonably priced plant proteins encourage older persons to naturally increase their intake with consistently beneficial outcomes. Senior sports provide yet another fascinating tool. Plant-based diets are being adopted by an increasing number of senior athletes who report better recovery periods and longer-lasting performance, with many of them living on bean-centered diets well into their 80s and 90s. The burgeoning community of plant-based senior athletes challenges all preconceived notions about protein requirements. Since the biggest lie is preventing too many people from learning about the benefits of plant proteins, let me address it directly. It is just untrue to say that plant proteins are in some way lacking or subpar. All 20 amino acids are present in every single plant on the planet. The entire natural world uses the same genetic code. Studies on rats in 1914 gave rise to the entire idea of incomplete plant proteins, which have since been comprehensively disproved by contemporary science. Aloft, the necessary amino acids that our systems require may be found in plant proteins. According to the American Heart Association, your muscles will naturally receive all the nutrients they require to flourish when you eat a diverse diet full of various plant proteins throughout the day. The notion that older persons must rely mostly on animal protein is another myth that has to be dispelled. Consuming plant protein has a stronger correlation with preserved muscle mass in older persons than does animal protein. According to several recent studies, vegetable protein intake was the best indicator of both physical function and good nutritional health. According to the Spanish pre-dined trial, which involved nearly 3,000 older persons, although there is some truth to digestion concerns, they are exaggerated. Indeed, raw plant proteins digest 70–90% more efficiently than animal proteins, which digest 95 to 99% more efficiently. However, this minor discrepancy is easily resolved by appropriate heating and food preparation. More importantly, when you consume enough protein, the 10–20% difference doesn't matter at all, and beans are significantly less expensive, so most individuals can get appropriate intake. The notion that costly supplements are required is more akin to marketing than science. Whole food beans offer all the nutrients needed to support muscle, not only protein. The whole nutrient profile of beans has great synergistic effects, which is probably why studies comparing isolated supplements to whole food plant proteins show comparable or better results. Smart shopping that positions you for long-term success is the first step toward success. To save as much money as possible, buy dried beans in bulk and store them in sealed containers for years to come. Start by adding the most adaptable alternatives to your bean collection. Chickpeas for snacking and adaptability, black beans for substantial bulk cooking, and red lentils for easy weeknight meals. If you don't already have a nice pressure cooker, get one. It will increase digestibility and pay for itself in convenience many times over. To allow your digestive system to adjust, your first week should be devoted to a gradual introduction to your typical lunch soup. Add a 4 cups of well-cooked lentils. Add half a cup of beans to your dinner by week 2. You bring beans to breakfast in week 3. For a high-protein start to the day, try adding black beans to scrambled eggs or mashing white beans into a spread for your morning toast. This method builds long-lasting new habits while allowing your digestive system to adjust. Once you have beans as your base, meal planning becomes a breeze. Protein for the week is produced by batch cooking 2 or 3 types on Sunday. For convenient single portions that I can remove as needed, I prefer to portion cooked beans into ice cube trays. Develop a variety of flavor profiles to maintain interest. Indian-spiced lentils with turmeric and ginger, Mexican-inspired black beans with cumin and lime, or Italian-style white beans with fresh rosemary and garlic. This type guarantees that you receive a range of nutrients while avoiding boredom. Aim for 1.2 to 1.6 g of protein per kilogram of body weight each day for the best muscle building outcomes. You would require between 84 and 112 g of protein overall if your weight was 154 pounds or roughly 70 kilograms. Aim for 30 to 50 grams of this from beans for each of your 3 main meals. To make complete proteins, mix beans with healthy grains at every meal. To improve iron absorption, include foods high in vitamin C, such as citrus, tomatoes, and bell peppers. If you'd like, add modest amounts of dairy or eggs, which can increase the leucine level and promote the development of muscle protein. Keep in mind to drink plenty of water, particularly if you consume more beans to boost your fiber intake. Try to drink 8 glasses of water or more each day, even if your regimen only consists of body weight exercises or resistance bands. Think about incorporating some mild resistance training. A potent synergy for muscle growth and maintenance is produced when sufficient lean protein and consistent resistance exercise are combined. Here's what I want you to remember from our conversation today. The research supporting beans' ability to help adults over 60 maintain and grow muscle is overwhelming. In addition to offering heart-healthy fiber, vital minerals, and anti-inflammatory chemicals that animal protein just cannot equal, they offer premium protein at a cost that won't break the bank. Beans offer a sustainable, health-promoting way to keep your strength and independence for decades to come, provided you prepare them properly and consume them strategically throughout the day. Expensive supplements are not necessary. Complicated meal plans are not necessary. You need beans, carefully prepared and regularly consumed. Please let me know where you're coming from today. Before we begin, please feel free to ask any questions you may have and leave a comment below. Remember to click the subscribe button and enable notifications so you don't miss any of Senior Health's top health advice. And I want to know whether you're with me. If you're now watching, if this video resonates with you, type 1 in the comment section. If not, type 0. This small but effective alteration will benefit your muscles, your pocketbook, and your general health. Whether beans can help you gain and keep muscle beyond 60 is not the question. Are you prepared to give them the opportunity they merit?